talking more and more about college alternatives because we were talking earlier about this college debt. This conversation about college debt is going mainstream, and it's like, apparently it's a really big problem. And we're just talking about college, and he was talking to me about his semester abroad experience in LA and how it was like kind of scammy and not worth it and the shittiest college, and like what did we really get out of that. So when I'm talking about college, of course it's hindsight 2020, right? But I'm trying to just speak through the camera and maybe reach like a past version of myself coming out of high school maybe, or even like first year of college and like thinking this is not for me and I want to drop out. I just want the alternate versions of myself in the past to know that people like me and Chris exist. And of course the whole thing with that is most people are watching TV and not watching YouTube. So I always say the one thing that changed my life was when me and Parker got that apartment and decided to not hook up cable, just hook up the internet. And stream YouTube. And that ended up... Oh, and the other thing that changed my life was taking a 2-week vacation to Thailand. This was right after graduating college. So to my past self, I would say after high school, take at least a 2-week trip to Southeast Asia or somewhere around the world. And that might spark a travel bug in you, and that might, spark that exotic passion for travel or exotic lifestyle or tropical weather or whatever it may be. Did you have a similar experience where you took a vacation?
It seems like it's a common thing. I call it catching the travel bug. And that's what happened when I was doing my study abroad in America, in LA. I caught the travel bug from that experience, and that's really, I was thinking of ways to be able to live abroad and have that travel experience, but I was going through that whole university system at the same time. So it's like, here's what I'm supposed to do, here's what I'm really excited about, and kind of the digital nomad thing kind of bridges the gap between those two, because you can build a business while traveling, you can still have a career while traveling. It is more difficult, I'd say, but at the same time it maybe accelerate in terms of the community. It might accelerate your growth. Even being out here for me now, I've spent like more than 2 months at home, and just being out here, it motivates me. Do you know what I mean? Why do I want to make that extra money if I'm just going to sit at home back in Brisbane, where I'm from? And then you come out here and you realize, oh wow, like I'm literally doing exactly what I was doing at home, but here. And then that reminds you of that freedom. And so it's motivating being out here, and especially if you haven't traveled before, like, my God, you got to get out here and experience it for yourself. And it might give you a difference. You might not go back and be like, oh, I want to be a digital nomad, but it'll at least give you a different worldview, and you'll learn from it. So, God, if you never traveled before, you have to travel. Just to see what it's like. So life tips for the youngins, like, they have the gap year in Australia and in Europe, and like, I try to mention the gap year thing as much as possible, hoping that maybe some youngins are watching my channel, but not many. So it's not a culturally common thing in America to gap year?
It's like, it's not. And so I really wish more, like, if I can be a part of making the gap year popular in America, like,
let's bring the gap year to America.
Let's bring it back. I'll be so satisfied being the spokesperson for that, because like, whoo, man, it's so important. And like, even as like Gary Vee says, like, in your 20s and in your late teens, these are the times to take the risks. These, and like, he's so passionate about that. You can tell when he talks about this. Between 20 and like, between 18 and 35, he's like, you gotta take the risks. This is when you do that startup. This is when you sacrifice everything to travel the world. This is when you start that band that you've always wanted to. This is when you start that YouTube channel that you've always wanted to. This is when you go to Thailand and learn Muay Thai like you've always wanted to. This is when you do the yoga meditation retreats in Bali like you've always wanted to. This, like, you young people coming out of high school, you don't need college. Let's just say it. If you want to be successful, it's not going to be because of college. It's going to be because of your own ambition and your own smarts, paying attention to the market and figuring out your own shit. Okay, let's just be 100% real. Okay, not that college is bad, but if you're already thinking that college, why am I going to college? Just know it's because of the system and everyone else does it. You don't need it. If you think it's not for you, don't be tricked and by someone else to convince you that it is for you.
Yeah. Well, most digital nomads are either entrepreneurs or freelancers,
Yeah.
and for both of those, you don't need a degree.
Oh,
So
there you go. Thanks for summarizing.
doesn't that say it all, right?
Yeah, he
Like,
summarized it. I'm just ranting. That exactly. If you know you want to be a digital nomad, let's just be straight up. Big chunk of audience is. A big chunk of you guys are. Because I was back home. I was watching Jabril and Johnny, and I was like, yes, that rings a bell with me. I do want to be working in a laptop in Chiang Mai and wearing a tank top.
I feel like people have to, they've been taught a certain way throughout their life. Then they hear this and they start to ask questions that sound kind of bizarre to us, like, oh, do I need to have a degree to freelance as a web developer, for example? And that sounds bizarre to me. Like, there is literally no situation in which anyone has asked me for a degree. But I think it's like, well, oh wow, people are working remotely. Then you ask the next question and the next question, and you realize, oh wow, there's this entire way of living that's so separate from what we've been taught our whole lives. So it takes a while for people that are not used to this idea to kind of learn the different aspects of it. But just everything that you've been taught, have an open mind and realize like it's doesn't follow the same rules as the real world kind of thing.
Call it the new economy even. Like, we live in such a new digital economy. Like, we don't have degrees anymore. What we have is profile reviews and stars. Like, literally, he was telling me about his Upwork profile and how he's got like top rated status and all that. Like, that's essentially like a credibility thing.
That's bigger than a degree.
Bigger than a degree, right? We live in the modern day system where we have reviews, actual testimonials, like in our profile. That's a degree. That says what experience you have. Anyways, you guys already get it.
We kind of digressed a bit from the Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Bali thing.
That was good because our core audience, as you were telling me, 80% of your audience is obviously not a digital nomad yet. And so most of my audience is the same thing, not a digital nomad yet. So maybe you clicked on this video because that's down the road and you're thinking about where to start, or maybe you're already into it and thinking about where to go next. Doesn't matter where you guys start, guys. Just start. But of course, if you want to be a digital nomad, it starts first with earning money remotely. And we both were talking about earlier, we're trying to do more content around that, because that's where most people are. They're at the beginning stages. They're seeing YouTube and they're like, okay, this type of lifestyle clicks with me. How do I do that? And it starts with earning online. It doesn't start with picking the city that you want to go to. And so stay tuned to Chris. If you don't already know him, of course 80% of you probably do. Subscribe to his channel, and he's doing more cool, beautiful cinematic film work. So subscribe to his second channel and both of his Instagrams. And
I have too many social accounts now. Yeah, sorry.
And he's gonna be in Bali. So stay tuned and join us. Let's lock arms. And we are both guys that I think genuinely just want to provide value and answer questions that people ask, and help more people do this, and especially like more friends from back home. Like, I always try to put myself back in the mindset, like, I really want more of my friends to be able to be out here and be totally location independent. And so I'm gonna continue to share different ways that people earn online and how you can potentially do the same thing and take it from someone who's already doing it. But anyways, check the links below. I'm sure we got some goodies down there. And hit up Chris the Freelancer. Feel free to hit him up. Anything else? Final words?
Final words?
Words of wisdom?
Oh shit, you put me on the spot here.
Coffee builds businesses.
Coffee builds businesses.
It does. Yeah. Anyways, this is where we are, guys. Let's do a little 360. We got some condos over there. And over here, see, you can see a big old freeway over there. Big old freeway. And we got some temples. And we got some water. Over here, more condos. There's like a school back there. Anyways, see you guys around the world. Peace. Ding, ding. I'm not a filmmaker. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, that was good. That was really good.
You go up, it's like 20-minute end screen just sitting there.
Yeah, yeah.
20 second. Anyways.
That's a good idea.
Bye.